In my last video, I unboxed my Senada Saber 1000 watt e-bike. Today, I'm going to attempt to assemble it. If you are not mechanically inclined, I recommend you hire somebody to assemble it for you. There are mobile bike services that will come to your home and do it for you. Don't take anything I'm about to tell you as gospel. There are lots of other great e-bike assembly videos on YouTube. But the instructions in the Senada manual are pretty good. Read and follow the instructions. I did, however, find a couple inconsistencies that I'll try and point out. Okay, let's get started. I elected to leave as much of the packaging in place to reduce the risk of me scratching the bike, even though I did end up putting a couple scratches in it while trying to assemble and take it out of the box and all that stuff. But here I am trying to put the front fender on. Bolt, washer, and nut hold the top of the fender in place. The chrome struts on either side go on with a bolt and two washers. They're on there pretty good, but I might come back later and add lock washers all around. Senada does give you a bottle of red Loctite. I don't think you're going to need it, and I wouldn't use it here. The light and the bracket from the light go behind the front forks. You can see I actually forgot to put the light on, had to go back and redo the whole thing with the light. Okay, fender and light are on. Easy peasy. Now we're going to move on to the handlebars. I'm removing the faceplate from the handlebar stem. It's 4 bolts and putting the bars into place. Put the bolts and the faceplates back in. Tighten them very carefully in a star pattern. I don't want to go too tight right now because after I finish assembling the bikes, I'm going to come back and make sure the bars are lined up just the way I want them. Then we'll tighten them with a small torque wrench. I think the manual says 10 Newton meters. There's already blue Loctite on the bolts, so they should be fine. Like I said before, Senada gives you a bottle of red extra strength Loctite. Don't use it here. The blue Loctite that's on there already is fine. Here's something I missed and only realized when the bike would not run. Check that the cable from the display unit to the motor controller is connected. I believe that they may disconnect this at the factory to give a little more slack to the handlebars during shipping. The pins of the connectors are very delicate and both ends must be aligned to fit together. Here is what the cable should look like after you've connected everything properly. It's really starting to look like a bicycle now. Putting the front wheel on is easier if you have 2 people, but of course I'm too impatient, so I did it by myself. Make sure you carefully align the rotor with the caliper. The instructions from Senada show a flat washer and a hook washer on each side. Unfortunately, my bike only shipped with flat washers. I'm going to follow up with Senada and maybe add hook washers later if the wheel and axle really need it. There's no specific torque ratings given for the front axle. Maybe I'll look on the internet and torque them down later. Just make sure they're pretty snug because you don't want your front wheel falling off while you're riding. Very exciting. Here come the pedals. If you read the assembly instructions in the owner's manual, they tell you to grease the pedal threads. That's correct. It shows a red bottle of grease. The bottle, however, looks almost identical to the red bottle of thread locker included with the bike. Do not use thread locker on the pedals. I'm using a little white lithium grease. Right pedal is labeled WR and the left pedal is labeled WL. The left pedal is reverse threaded. I will put a link in the description to a great video on installing pedals. That's it. I'm done. I assembled my first e-bike. I'm going to go back and double check everything. Remember, don't use this video as a complete assembly video. I just wanted to share my experience. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.